What if some of the guilt you carry was never put on you by God in the first place? What if you've been repenting for things God was never offended by? Many Christians live with a quiet tension inside. They love God, they want to do what's right, yet they constantly feel like they're falling short. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Not all guilt is holy, and not every heavy feeling is conviction. Sometimes guilt comes from confusion, not from sin. So let's talk about 4 things Christians often feel guilty about that God never once called sin. 1. Needing rest and slowing down. Somewhere along the way, busyness became a badge of faith. If you're tired, you feel weak. If you rest, you feel unproductive. But God never equated exhaustion with obedience. Rest was built into creation itself. Slowing down isn't stepping away from God. It's stepping out of self-reliance. When you rest, you're not abandoning your calling. You're admitting that God doesn't need you running on empty to work through you. 2. Saying no to people. Many believers struggle with this one quietly. They say yes when their heart is saying no. They overextend, overcommit, and overgive, then feel guilty for feeling drained. But saying no is not rejection, and boundaries are not a lack of love. You were never called to be available to everyone all the time. You were called to be obedient to God's voice. Sometimes protecting your peace is the most spiritual decision you can make. 3. Feeling emotionally low or spiritually dry. There's a lie many Christians believe. If my faith were strong, I wouldn't feel this way. So when sadness comes, or exhaustion lingers, or God feels distant, guilt quickly follows. But emotions are not evidence of failure. They're signals, not sins. Faith doesn't remove human weakness. It teaches us where to bring it. God is not disappointed by your honesty. He invites it. 4. Not being further along in your faith. Comparison quietly fuels spiritual guilt. You look at others and think, they pray better, they know more, they're closer to God, and suddenly your journey feels inadequate. But God never measures growth by speed. He measures it by direction. You are not behind, you are becoming. And the same God who started the work in you is not frustrated with the process. Here's what you need to hear today. God does not lead with shame. He leads with truth and patience. If guilt is pushing you away from God, it didn't come from Him. You are not disappointing God. You are learning to walk with Him. If this message helped you breathe a little easier, share it with someone who's been carrying silent guilt. And in the comments, write, I choose grace over false guilt. Subscribe for more faith-filled messages that bring clarity, not condemnation.